So let's begin with what is life cycle itself from today. We'll just drop whatever we have learned in a previous class. So what is a life cycle? So a life cycle is nothing but from the stage of where we have detected a defect in the product or in the software. So from there, we say that it has started a defect. So until we close that defect, that is the throughout stages, whatever it has been gone through, that is called as defect life cycle. It is also called as bug life cycle. Okay, it is for the softwares to undergo the stages to rectify or to know the state of particular bugs. So the state of bugs, when I say, there are many states of bugs. So if the present state from which this, for example, when you have found a new bug, so yesterday itself we found out, if we are going to find out a new bug, new first defect, then that status. So these are, now we are discussing the number of status that a particular defect can go on from one project to the other project, from stage by stage. What are the different types of stages or the status of a particular defect can occur. So now let us see, there are nearly 15 stages or nearly 11 to 15 stages or status. So let us see each of them. Yesterday itself we have discussed with each, but let us again have a revision of it and let's proceed. So coming to the first stage, that is new. When do we say it is new? We have defected it for the first time and we have logged in that kind of defect for the first time. Then we say that status to be new. So when a new defect is logged and been posted for the first time, then we assign that particular defect to be new. Okay, what do you mean by assigned? The next status or the next state of defect can take over is assigned. Once the bug has been posted, that means once a tester finds out one error, the tester has to assign that to a particular team of builders who is building up this project. He has to hand over that particular bug to that particular person. So assigning a team of developers, assigning the bug to the developing team is called as assigned. So when the job is being given to somebody, when the defect is told, yes, this is the defect, please team number 1 take over, then we say that it has been assigned. Next is opened. Opened means what? When the developer starts opening it and analyzing to fix the defect, then we say it to be opened. When he is fixed and made the code with the necessary changes and verification has also been done, n number of times verification, test cases, all has been done, then that is called as fixed. Next, what is pending retest? Once the defect is being fixed by the developer, the particular code is being tested again and again. Okay, once the software retesting is pending by the tester's end, maybe the developer will test on his end, but after it being given to the tester back, when he is not tested again, then we say that as pending retest. Okay, we tell that as pending retest. That means once the testers has been, developing team can test the code, the defect which has been given to them. Once they finish doing the required changes, the code is being given to the particular tester team back. If the tester team is being assigned that particular test, he takes it back, and if he's not testing it again, then we call it as pending retest. If the test is being done and not required for any changes, then we tell it as retest. Verified. The tester retests the bug after it has got fixed. If there is no bugs being defected, then that is called as verified. Reopen. When do we reopen it? Whenever there is a defect again, then we are, when that particular defect is not being found, is not been fixed, and if there is one more error in that same particular software, then we have to reopen it and we have to check what is the defect. So that time we rename that particular bug as reopen. Closed Means if the bug is no longer existing by the tester team, the status is being changed as closed. Duplicate, if the test is been repeating, if the bug is repeating, let us say, for example, in yesterday's class, we were seeing about the printf statement. If n number of statements has, we have already seen such kind of errors. So what happens? Then we can say that the error has been seen more than 2 or 3 times repeated, then the status can be duplicated. Duplicate can be the status. Reject, when it can be reject. If the developing team feels that it is not a genuine one, some unauthorized user has been given the defect to make the software down, to make the software low, to make the software rejected. That time, the developer team will feel that this error is not to be required to fix it. You can casually go with the error. It is not a major one. So that time it is called as rejected. Deferred means what? If the present bug is not a prime priority, we can release the current updated, and we can show the updation of the second one in a new release. We can show the status of that particular bug in the new release. That is called as deferred, not a bug. Okay, if it does not affect the functionality, then we can put the status as not a bug. So these are the different status that a particular software or particular product can undergo. So coming to again the different status. Okay, so now let us see the life cycle. If you just see here, we have just a flow chart. We have new, assigned, opened. So here he can either say it is a duplicate, he can reject it telling that it is an unauthorized error, he can defer it by telling that it can be released in new bug, or it in the new release, or he can tell it is not a bug. He can either do it that, or if it is a necessary one, he can put it in fixed. This pending is what? When the tester has not tested it still. So once the tester tests, you can go it for retest if required. And if the tester has tested it, then we can go for retest. And if the test, that means the tester has been tested and he feels that the error is not fixed. When that is the case, he can go for retest and reopen the error and go. If the test is been successful, then he can tell it is verified and closed. If you just see with one small example, I've just given one small example how the status will go here. First step, test has been found. Yes, the status is new. Now, what the other person does, developing project manager will analyze the test for what, whether it can be rejected, whether it can be, that is, we are handovering it to the developer team, and the developer team has to open it and feel what it is, whether it is a mandatory one for fixing, that is, otherwise, are we rejecting it? Is it a real defect that it has to be solved in this version itself? Otherwise, we'll give an upgraded version in the next one after fixing that. Or if it has been, if the error has already been seen. So if it is not all these three, then what we say, okay, we start fixing the error. We are in the progress. If it has been fixed, then we say it fixed. If the tester has retested, if the test has been passed, then we close it. If the test has been failed, then we go back for testing it again by opening the file, reopen. Did you all understand this one? You should have understood this flow, at least today you should have understood. Okay, so this is the life cycle. We have just underseen the life cycle, the status of life cycle, then the flow of one life cycle, how the flow of it is. And then with one small example, or this is also one of this one. So this is just the textual part of it. He finds out the error, he assigns this new, then the project manager analyzes is whether it is to be rejected or whether it is to be postponed or deferred. That means it can be for the next version or whether it is a duplicate one. Then if it is not all of this, then we can fix the errors by progressing it and then proceeding it. So this is all about the cycle. Now, we'll go for the new topic, today's topic. Okay, so this is about the next one. What you're going to learn is the defect management process. We have already seen what is defect management process in the few slides before that, where you had the discovery of the defect, the baseline of the defect, then we see the resolving, verification, documentation. All this comes under the various. That is, we just systematically process the identification of the defect for managing it, and then we try to fix it. When such kind of process goes on, that is called as defect management. That is, we are going to try to find out how exactly we are going to process the defect that we have been, to identify what kind of bug it is, what kind of defect it is, and then we try to fix that bug. That is called as defect management process. In this defect management process, we have various stages. So we have first one, we have to discover the defect. Then we have to see in which category it is come, characterization, then fixing, resolving, then verification, then the closure of the defect, and then reporting the defect, what it is, the summary, the record, the documentation. That is called as report. So there are 6 stages. Let us say stage by stage what is happening. So first one is discovery. So what happens in discovery? So discovery stage is the first earlier stages. So this is been in the development team itself will try to find out the possible defects. The developing team itself will find out the defect in this, so that the end tester will not be able to find out any such simple kind of defects, so that the end customer will not be able to find it. So this defect is said to be discovered and change the status to accepted. He has to accept that the changes are being done. So what is that? And when it is and accepted, when it has been acknowledged and accepted by the developer. So fine, for example, let us say that there are a tester is found some 80 errors. So what happens? The tester will tell to the test manager, telling that I have found 82 errors in the product. So what the tester manager will do is he'll go for the project manager or the developing team manager. He will say, my particular teammate, that is my tester, has found out 82 errors in your product. What are you going to do? So he will hand over that product. The test manager will hand over that product to the developing manager, and the developing manager will give to the developing team to rectify and fix those errors. So that team has to accept that whatever defect that was found or discovered is a defect. That is a defect. So that acknowledgement they have to give. So that is about the discovery. He has to accept, yes, okay, fine, that is an error. We will try to rectify it and fix it and give it to you people. That is the acceptance of the discovery of the defect. So there we have 3 stages. First one is discover, report the error, accept the defects. So what happens in discover the defects? The defects that we are going to find out before the product is being released. Report means what? We are going to report it to the developing team. Yes, this is. And when the developer team accepts it, they send an acknowledgement to us telling that, okay, fine, we are accepting this. Otherwise, they have a rights of, if they're not a valid defects, the tester just gives for pulling down the software and all, then we can say that it is a defect which is to be rejected. So there are 3 stages in developing the discovery itself. The first one is defect should be discovered. Second one, the defected bugs which has been found should be reported to the developing team, and then the developing team has to acknowledge about the defects. These 3 things should happen in the discovery phase. So we have finished the first phase, which is the discovery phase. What exactly happens in discovery phase? Now we have to go and find out what type of characterization it is. We have to give so many characterization we have found out. So it is the prioritization that we are going to do, whether it is a critical, high, medium, low, what kind of it is. So we are going to characterize them, and we are going to find the test, and we are going to find out how critical it is for us to defect the character. Next is resolution. How do you resolve it? So it's a phases of fixing the error. Step by step, we start analyzing it. Before we analyze, we have to give it to the team, developing team. Then the developing team will start scheduling the defect as per the priority. If there are 10 errors, which among this 10, which has to be given the preference? What has to be given the preference? So they start analyzing, scheduling, fixing the defect, and then reporting them. Finally, we have to report the resolving because to the testing team that tester manager, we have tried to solve. So we had 82 errors. This tester, what he did, he fixed 82 errors. These 82 errors was reported to the test manager first. The test manager will report these 82 errors to the builders, the builder manager. The builder manager will report to his team. So that team will again write after the solution of the program or the bugs back to the program manager, the program manager to the test manager. The test manager will now start analyzing. So that is your resolving. So resolving is, we have 4 steps. One is assigning, scheduling, fixing the defect, and writing the report and handovering it to the test manager. So there are 4 steps in resolving. Okay, so we have seen right now in the test manager process, discovery we saw, characterization we saw, resolving, and the next one is verification. What do you do in verification? What do you do in verification? Okay, so in verification, what he does, after the developing team has fixed the errors and it has been reported to the manager, the testing team will take those errors again. So for example, we were talking about there are 82 errors or 83 errors that has been reported by the testers to the test manager. Now what happens after the developing team has fixed it, the developing team will report that out of this 82, we have finished fixing 65. And they will say, okay, fine, we are reporting the 65, which has been fixed. And they give it to the tester team. Now it's a job of the tester team to verify whether the 65 fixed errors are really fixed or it has been to be fixed. Whether it has to be fixed or whether it has already been fixed, as the developing team tells that I have resolved the 65 error defects, whether it is true or false, he has to verify it. If not, he has to give back the error to reopen this one. The testing, verification is all been done, then you can change the status to close. Otherwise, we have to reopen the file. This is about the closure. Then it is the documentation. Documentation is very, very, very important. recording, reporting about the defects are very, very important. So defects reporting is a software testing process where we prepare and send a report to the management team of the feedback on the complete process. The management team checks the defect report and feeds and sends the feedback about this one. So the developing team will write the feedback and give it to the tester team about the reports that have been considered and that has been reported. All of these reports are exactly the same that has been given by the developing team. We will check. If not, this report will help us for the better communication, track and explain each and every defects in details. This report will help us to know the status of the defect, whether it is to be progressed or whether it is to be reopened again or whether it is to be closed completely. Such things all we can find out. That is about this one. So we have totally seen there are totally 6 phases. All the 6 phases talks about the defect management process. So defect management process goes with discovery, defect characterization, fixing of errors by the developing team, verification by the tester team, closure of this, and at the end we have the report of the overall defect. So these 6 phases has to be undergone during the process of defect management. So please kindly go through. I will just give you a fraction of seconds. Once you go through, before we go to the next topic, we'll log off and rejoin again. So these are the different stages of your defect process. There is one more important validation or the evaluation of the testing. That is 2 important terms. One is defect rejection ratio and defect leakage ratio. Defect rejection ratio is how many number of defects are being rejected with the total number of ones which is being raised. So for example, in our example, we have taken 82. So out of that 82, 65 was fixed. The others was unwanted one. So the unwanted one, how much was rejected from, so 17 divided by 82 into 100. That will be your rejection ratio because out of 32, 65 has been resolved. Next is leakage ratio. Out of the 17, some may be missed. That means we wouldn't have recognized that as a defect. That is called as missed. So number of defect missed with total number of defects that has been found in the software into 100. This is the ratio. So these 2 important ratios will validate your test execution, which is also one of the most important metrics. So defect rejection ratio and defect leakage ratio will tell you that how many we have rejected, how many we have missed from identifying the defect in the product. So this percentage is when it is when you say it wants to be an acceptable one, it should maximum or acceptable ratio is up to 5% to 10%, not more than that. Okay, so students, we will rejoin again. Please kindly rejoin.